That is my role.
Live streaming is on.
Apparently, live streaming is on now. That sums up the general evaluator role. Back to you, Jess.
Thank you, Tyler. You look like a total newscaster there for a minute. All right. So now we're going to get into one of my favorite parts of the meetings, which is where we're going to do our prepared speeches. We have 3 so far prepared for today. Is everybody else that is supposed to give a speech today? Have they all got them? We've got all 3 ready?
No, I do not. This is Ray.
Okay. So
I had to go back to work in person, so my week's been jolted.
Understood, of course. This is human life on planet Earth. Earl, you got yours?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. And I've got mine. If there's anyone who happens to have a speech they want to pull out of their back pocket, just let us know.
Jess, we did have a late entry. We had Sahani add herself. She's doing her icebreaker.
Fantastic. So we can just put her in Ray's slot, if that's all right, the second speaker. And then Sean was going to evaluate Ray. Do you want to go ahead and evaluate Sahani's speech?
Yes. Actually, that was going to be my question.
Right on. Okay.
I guess you're off the hook, John.
Teamwork. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker, our fearless leader and president, Mr. Earl Reyes. He is on the dynamic leadership path, level 5 of high performance leadership, and he is going to grace us with his speech entitled, "How Do I Rename Myself?" Earl, take it away.
I cannot wait for this year's Summer Leadership Institute. I can't wait for them to learn me some new things. Though I'm not quite sure about zooming from my computer box. I mean, how do the speakers even get in there? Anyways, rename myself. My mama named me Joe Average Computer User, and I'm not changing my name for anyone. Mute your microphone. What microphone? This is Toastmasters, not American Idol. Okay, finally we're getting started. I'm supposed to be in the How to Be an Awesome Speaker breakout session, not the How to Speak Awesomely breakout session. Hello? Wrong breakout session. Hello? Hello? And scene. Fellow Toastmasters, if any of you attended the first ever virtual District 66 Summer Leadership Institute, or SLI, you can probably relate to the scene you just saw. And if you didn't attend, you can probably infer what I was trying to portray. 2 things I learned from that experience. First, everyone has a different level of knowledge and of comfort with computers and applications like Zoom, a video conferencing platform. And second, managing a video conference with nearly 400 people, splitting them up into specific groups and placing them into specific rooms on cue is a little bit more than one person can reasonably manage, particularly when things don't go exactly as planned, as happened during SLI. I know because I was the Zoom master. It's these 2 issues that helped inspire my high performance leadership project, and I would like to share my vision with you. So what exactly is high performance leadership? Just one second. Okay. So this project is a level 5 project in Pathways. It's required for a few of the paths, but is mostly an elective for all the others. This was a holdover from the traditional education program in which it was an advanced communicator silver project, I believe. But the whole goal of this project is to allow you to flex your leadership muscles in attaining a particular goal. You also have a guidance committee that helps you in execution of your project. My guidance committee happens to have 3 DTMs or Distinguished Toastmasters on it, so I feel pretty good about the feedback I'm getting. So we've got a problem. COVID-19. It's had an impact on all of us. And one of the big things that we need to do to help prevent the widespread of it is social distancing. That has had a big impact on us as Toastmasters in that we can't meet face to face. But there is a solution. Technology. We all have computer boxes and computer phones and the internet, so that allows us to meet virtually. It's not quite the same as meeting in person, but it's still better than nothing. But with this solution, there are issues. First of all, in our district, Zoom, well, actually within Toastmasters, Zoom is the video conferencing application of choice, and people have mixed experience with Zoom, as we found out during SLI. Secondly, that managing these meetings is a lot of work. Seemingly, it would be really simple to set up the meeting, let everyone in, but it gets a little complicated when the number of people attending the meetings goes up. And that has inspired my vision, is to provide District 66 leaders and members with resources to facilitate Zoom meetings and Zoom training events given by the district. Primarily a Zoom team to help facilitate the events as well as provide training, and then educational resources of different varieties because everybody learns differently. My goals in this project, first, to develop a Zoom team by identifying the candidates. You should be getting an email pretty soon soliciting your volunteer to volunteer for this team. I'm going to provide training for the candidates, hands-on training. The Zoom documentation is not very good, in my opinion, because it's a lot of words, not a lot of pictures. And Zoom happens to be a very visual thing. Reading about something and actually seeing it and doing it is something completely different. Once I get people trained up, then we can start facilitating those meetings. Once the team is built, then we can start developing educational resources, starting with user guides for the different roles within a meeting, just a regular attendee, a participant, a presenter, and a facilitator. Also going to develop some how-to videos, some little short snippets so that people can see this is how you rename yourself, for example. And again, also like to provide hands-on training so that if people have specific questions, they can get those answered. Now, my vision for this project is to empower all Toastmasters to rename themselves. Madam Toastmaster.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Earl. Took me a minute to unmute because I was clapping. You made some really, really great points about Zoom. Leadership being near and dear to me. I was very excited to hear about your plan. And the facilitator and educator in me might have peed a little listening to your plan. That's amazing. I'm so excited. So our next speaker is going to be our brand new member, Ms. Sahani. I don't have the title page though, so I'm not sure what the title of your speech is.
Sure, it's called Path to Becoming Pest Princess.
Fantastic. Take it away.
All right. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and thank you for welcoming me to your dynamic group. I was really impressed by your team when I visited virtually. and I'm honored to have been added as a member of your group today. Today, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my path to becoming the pus princess. Never in a million years did I think that that would become my introduction. But there I was in 2012, excitedly listening to the APMA president, Dr. Garofalus, listing off my accomplishments as part of introducing me to the Symposium on Advanced Wound Care, a massive national meeting of who's who and experts in the field of wound care. And he finished up with, and here's the pus princess herself, Dr. Howie. I was flabbergasted. And that is about the typical circumstances that I find myself in. The pictures of me looking like a deer in headlights as I accepted the award, it is so quintessentially me. And whether I find myself in these situations because of my own actions or God's sense of humor, this is me. See, when I was growing up in Sri Lanka, I had no aspirations of becoming a doctor, let alone a princess of any kind. My mother would have told you how she feared I wouldn't make it to my 10th birthday, because by that time, I had fallen out of a rather large tree. To be fair, there was a challenge that girls could not climb trees. We can climb trees. Getting down is a different story. There was also a head-on car accident. Again, there was a challenge involved. And then there was the epic game of hide and seek, during which a broken window pane sliced through my thigh, sending me to the hospital, nearly cutting an artery. It took several months to heal from that. Not the surgery, the beating my mother gave me afterwards. In the late 80s, we immigrated from Sri Lanka to the US, eventually settling in Staten Island. Yes, it's part of New York City. When my parents tried to enroll me in an all-girl Catholic school, I took my first stand. And I applied to be accepted into a math and science program for at-risk minority students. I wasn't really sure what I was at risk for, but my first year of public school was very eye-opening, to say the least. My ruddy-faced Napoleon complex guidance counselor was beyond frustrated that someone with zero aspirations was even allowed into this prestigious program. Because see, unlike other kids, I was clueless as to what college or career I wanted to go into. I didn't have it all figured out at 14, and so that meant I was destined to become one of the statistics, as he put it. I suppose I did become one of the statistics. I graduated with honors. I accepted the full scholarship to Wagner College, but I also worked full-time as a pharmacy technician, because really, there's no such thing as a free ride in college. And because I had been in a math and science program in high school, I was placed in a math and science program in college. I changed majors more times than a model changes clothes. At the commencement of my junior year, my guidance counselor was so frustrated and he said, listen, you can't change majors again. So I took the major that required the least continued effort. A year later, as graduation was drawing near, I had no clue what to do with a degree in molecular biology and genetics. Apparently, you go to med school or get a PhD, and neither one was appealing to me. But I blanketed the field with half-hearted applications and realized that I didn't have it all figured out at 21 either. I was accepted into SUNY Downstate and was to matriculate in the fall. Around the same time, I met a young man named Daniel. He was unique, being that he was a gentleman and a born-again Christian. Of course, I meant he was in a cult. But I entertained him because he was easy on the eyes and he made me laugh. So, shortly into this relationship, Daniel was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. The tumor the size of a grapefruit was sitting on his pulmonary saddle and was slowly suffocating him to death. This is a long but short story of how God miraculously intervened, a tumor completely disappeared, and I became a cult member. I mean, a born-again Christian. I had deferred my entrance into med school during this ordeal, and when it was time to return, my guidance counselor suggested that I take a summer class to fill in my gap year on my resume. So I took a 6-week class at a podiatric medical school. It was there that I realized podiatrists do way more than clip toenails. The podiatry school offered me a full scholarship for the first year, and it has been one of the best decisions I've ever made. I enjoyed the arduous But fulfilling misadventures of medical school in Spanish Harlem, I went on to complete a challenging residency in Hartford, Connecticut, and realized that I had a natural knack for wound care and limb salvage. My New York roots with my Connecticut training meant I could go from well-dressed and Harvard sounding to gangster in scrubs hacking away at gangrene in 0 to 60. I got a reputation for healing people others had given up on. It was long hours, a lot of pus-filled late nights in the operating room, and the occasional maggot-infested wound in the summer months. My life was far from the glamorous life of a princess, but it has been very rewarding. Then, in 2012, I got a notice that my peers and my patients had nominated me for this Wound Care Podiatrist of the Year award. And thus, the OR joke of referring to me as the Pus Princess became my introduction and sealed my reputation. Since then, I've been invited to lecture on various topics, and I've been honored to serve on many committees. I decided to join Toastmasters so I could become a better articulated presenter. And I am blessed to live with my husband, who, despite being a little grayer, is still easy on the eyes, and my 2 clever and mischievous girls in Newport News. I now serve America's heroes at the Hampton VA, but I'll always be low-key Pus Princess, and I still have no clue where I'm going next, even though I'm in my 40s. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Pus Princess. Fantastic, fantastic job. I'm really, really glad our group gets to know you and gets to learn how hilarious and intelligent and faith-driven you are. And I know that at least one of our other group members can swap some serious wound care stories with you. So that'll be awesome. Maybe we'll do like a wound care dance off one day. That'll be
When I heard gangrene and pus, I fell in love all over again.
Yes.
Next time we'll talk about amputations. That's a whole nother ball of fun.
Y'all are about to be grossed out on another level from now on.
The rest of them, the 3 of us, are going to be like, oh, yeah. All righty. I guess, so without further ado, the last speaker is myself. I guess I'll introduce myself. I am Jess Graves, and the title of my speech is called Speak to Me in a Language I Can Hear. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, the title of my speech, Speak to Me in a Language I Can Hear, comes from a Smashing Pumpkins lyric. It's probably the only thing they ever had to contribute to my life. But because I'm a person that likes to find deeper meaning in just about everything in my life, I took that line and it has been with me and resonated in my mind for many, many years. Today, I get to apply it to Toastmasters, a Toastmasters lesson about communication style. So raise your hand if you have ever had a conversation at home or at work and you have left frustrated, not because of the subject, but because of how it was communicated to you. Now raise your hand again, or raise your other hand if you have ever participated in a training or meeting at work and found yourself critiquing how the information was put forth to the crowd. People aren't going to listen to you if you keep communicating with them like that sort of thing. Give me some jazz hands if you've ever been asked to address a situation with somebody because you're the only person who seems to know how to talk to them. All right, now put everything down and stop wiggling. The roots of these situations are completely wrapped around communication style. So I'm going to talk about communication styles as it pertains to my Toastmasters lesson and offer some other thoughts based on my own experience. I took an assessment on the Toastmasters website, as we humans relish taking self-assessments so long as they're complimentary, right? And I was designated some primary communication styles. Out of 4 different communication styles, I actually tied for 2 primary communication styles. The first one, according to Toastmasters, is the analytical communication approach. Analytical people are your realists. They are meticulous, very detail-oriented. They're in love with the small details. They may seem a little bit anal retentive and cold, maybe even lacking in innovation and vision, depending on how immersed that they get, excuse me, into what they're doing. Because they are not emotionally driven, they have the ability to detach from situations and to refrain from being reactive, which actually makes analytical people quite diplomatic at times. The second communication style that I was designated as a primary communication style is what is called the direct communication approach. Now, this type of communication is actually fantastic for process improvement people because it is totally goal-oriented. The people who are direct communicators are the people who get things done. If you're not careful and you're a direct communicator, you can be perceived as someone who is also cold and uncaring about your fellow people. Depending on what your goals are, you can seem to be preoccupied with results, results, results. An easy way to get around this perception is to simply make your goals about your people. Problem solved. You can also be seen, if you're a direct communicator, as pushy or bossy, especially if nobody else really cares about your goals. So these 2 communication styles are somewhat related to what I would teach at our facility as an intuitive communication style. I also tied for the bottom of the barrel communication style. The last 2 communication styles that Toastmasters discusses are initiating and supportive communication styles. So the initiating approach is your social butterfly. They initiate contact. This person is going to be your party planner, the person who remembers all the birthdays, the person who notices when there's a bad or an off energy in the room. Now, for the people who are more direct or more analytical communication style people, the folks who are initiative, who are your people, might get a lot of flack because they may seem like they are goofing off most of the time or that they're not taking things seriously. They might seem like they don't have much to contribute. But the truth is that the people who have this communication style are really the glue that's going to hold the group together. When those of us who take things super seriously and are focused on getting things done are butting heads with each other and we're ready to leave the room, the people who are initiating communicators are going to be the ones who keep everybody there and keep them communicating. Somewhat related to that is the last communication style that Toastmasters talks about, which is the supportive communicator. These are, again, touchy-feely people. The supportive communicator's main goal is to allow people to flourish. They are your calm, steady force in communication. They are going to be the people to create an environment that allows people to do their best work. They can appear wishy-washy at times because their focus is really more on other people than it is in making decisions. So both initiating and supportive communication styles would fall under what I would call the personal communication style at work. Now, why would any of this matter in your day-to-day? You probably don't even think about it, but your communication style is really akin to speaking a totally different language. The bottom line is that some people really just aren't going to understand you unless you're able to put information into a format that's easily digestible for them. And because I'm an ownership type of person, I believe that as the communicator, it is your job not only as a communicator, but as a leader, to put information that you are trying to communicate into a format that's easily digestible for the recipient. It's a vital skill for an effective leader at all levels of an organization to have the ability to tease out the communication styles and thought processes of other people and to use that to be a successful communicator. If you've only got time for an elevator pitch, it is critical that you know how to deliver it in a manner that has the most impact possible. If anybody's ever read The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman, the concept is pretty much the same. Your communication simply is not valued at its highest level unless it's delivered in a manner that your listener appreciates. So with that, I am going to submit a challenge to you all for personal development. Think about how your own communication style affects your relationships, and think about how you can grow your communication skills to improve. And I'll additionally throw a little monkey wrench in the situation by challenging you to think about how your communication style and the way that you like to receive information affects your ability to receive information from other people. Thank you. All righty. So next, we're going to move on to the part of our meeting that's one of my other favorite part, which is table topics. So with that, I'm going to open up the floor to our topics master, Ms. Vernell.
Good morning again, everyone, and welcome to Table Topics. Table Topics is 1 to 2 minutes. We try to encourage you to talk at least the 2 minutes. And in that case, your story is not going to be so curious. Our topic this morning is homographs. In our English language, we have a lot of different types of speaking. A homograph is a word that has the same spelling, same pronunciation, but a different meaning. Your task this morning is to tell a story about a homograph. I'm going to give you a short example. Bark. I'm sitting in a tree and I feel the bark against my legs. Then I also hear a bark at the bottom of the tree. The bark against my legs and the bark in my ears are totally different. What should I do? Do I have a volunteer? No volunteers? Ray, can I call on you? You have to unmute.
Sorry.
Okay, there you are. You can pick a letter. That's a B, an F, an L, or a W. Which one would you like?
A W.
Your word is wave.
Wave.
Tell us a story about wave. The ocean or wave in your hand.
Mhm. Until I moved here, I never saw an ocean in my life, except for on a vacation down the Florida coast, where my first encounter with a wave also involved some seaweed, which contained a Portuguese man-o-war. So I don't like the ocean waves, don't do the ocean anymore. But the other kind of waves that I've always looked forward to or was fond of was people watching picnics. And either children are waving or people are waving support of the people who are parading down the road. And I admire those people because some of those routes are extremely long. I knew the New York Thanksgiving parade is very long, and it has a long history of booking 2 to 3 years out. So I'm wondering what will happen to all the waves this year, or if it will be another fatality of COVID-19. And all those waves will be missed. Madam Topics Master.
Who would like to be next?
I'll take a shot at it.
All right, Chris, what would you like? B, L, or F?
B.
B. Your word is bat. The bird or the instrument when you play baseball? Bat.
Absolutely. I got a great bat story for anyone who was a little sibling out there. Me and my brother, of course, we used to go out into the backyard, and we had a few hand-me-down baseball bats that we would use. And one of them I remember was it was a metal bat, and it was kind of had like a purple tint to it. Well, one day, me and my brother got in an argument, and of course, I take the bat and I throw it, and it lands and it dinks him right in the head. So, of course, as a little brother, I know we're about to brawl. So, what do? I run inside the mama, baby. The other kind of bat, an actual animal. I don't have much experience with them. The one thing I really scares me about them is that they're apparently really bad with rabies. So I'm glad I don't live in an environment where I have to deal with rabies on a daily basis. Could you imagine you're just walking out to your car and all of a sudden you got a bat coming at you? I remember there was a San Antonio Spurs game where Manu Ginobili, a bat was in the stadium and he had to hit it and get a rabies shot after. So that's my two experiences with the word bat.
Thank you. Who would like to be next? John?
I'll take the letter F.
I'll go over now.
Oh, all right. Well, so we have two. Who said they take the letter F?
Honey.
All right. So you can have the letter F, and your word is fine.
F-I-N-E or F-I-N-D?
F-I-N-E. Something that's small, or you fine.
Well, one of my favorite songs from the 90s describes a fine young gentleman. And this is called What a Man by Salt and Pepper. And Pepper is quite fine, but the rapper Peppa is not a fine or slim person. But there are many an occasion when that tune will come on the radio, and I immediately pop into my 90s rap star dreams and start rapping, much to the chagrin of my kids, who have to listen to very circuitous rap songs and miss lyrics of Salt and Pepper, which are very, very fine songs.
Thank you. All right, John, I heard your voice. I only have the one left, and that is lead. The metal or to lead.
Thank you. So growing up, my mother was an X-ray technician. And the one thing I learned early on was that she always wore a lead apron when she went into the X-ray room to take the X-rays. And there's times we would hang out at the hospital, my brother and I, when we were young, and she would have led us into the room where they developed the film as well, and also led us into the room where they took the X-rays and let us put on the lead apron in order to feel the weight of it and how it would sit on your body. And for the two of us, I mean, I was probably 8 at the time when she left that position. And so a lead apron that an adult would wear was quite a stressful weight on an 8-year-old. My brother would have been 4, so he couldn't even stand with it on. And that's lead and lead.
Very good. All right. I have one more if anyone would like to try. It's another L. All right. And I will turn it back over to the top table. I'm sorry, to Toastmaster of the Day.
Fantastic. Okay. So this next part of our meeting is going to be all evaluations. So I am going to turn the mic over to our general evaluator of the day, Mr. Tyler.
Thank you very much, Jess. Now for one of our favorite parts, it's the evaluations. This is where we will see feedback on the speeches we saw earlier. Our first evaluator evaluating Earl is Chris. Chris, would you please?
Absolutely. Earl, once again, you did a great job with your speech. When you initially started your speech, I was a little confused for about the first 5 seconds, but it became very obvious to me that you are acting out a Zoom situation that we've all seen in our lives, whether it's at Toastmasters, participating online in a virtual class. Someone always leaves their mic muted, unmuted, and there's always, shuffling around there. You did a great job here with the introduction. You really captured my interest right away. And then you talked about a much bigger problem, which was how uncoordinated Zoom sessions can be, especially since everyone's just really learning how to use these technologies and softwares really in the past 3 months. Unless you were really a gamer or something like that who uses Discord or TeamSpeak or something like that, you'd really be unfamiliar with these kind of programs. So I thought this was really on point. As far as your actual plan goes, your plan was detailed. I like the use of the PowerPoint transitioning away from just us seeing your face to showing, hey, here's the main points of the plan. So that was a good use of a visual aid. You also did something nicely at your introduction where you had a visual transition, and it's something I think we've all thought about, but you used the camera and you moved it down to show that you were really a average computer Joe user, as you put it, that didn't really know what was going on. So that was a great transition effect. And I definitely think it's something that all of us need to use more, moving the camera, bringing things into focus on the webcam. You did a great use of visual gestures, moving your hands when appropriate, acting concerned, things of that nature. One thing I would like to see more of, and this it's always hard to do, especially during a more formal speech or a more informational speech, is using vocal variety, getting loud, getting quiet. That's something I definitely love to see more of. Otherwise, it was a great speech. I look forward to speech 2 about this plan and how it's going to move forward. Great job, Earl.
Thank you very much, Chris. Our second evaluator, he was evaluating Sahani for her icebreaker speech. Our second evaluator is Sean.
Hey, good morning, Toastmasters. I'm evaluating Sahani, and I'd just like to say that for you to give us a glimpse into your vast background of overcoming adversity to become a podiatrist in a new country, it was awesome. Your speech was descriptive and gave different scenes of your journey, and you covered different aspects of your life, from your career, your husband, and navigating different cultures. It had humor, and you gave a lot of information in an easy to follow package. It flowed well, and it was easy to follow along. It also seemed so polished that I thought I was listening to a TED Talk for a minute. As far as what you could work on, I think one of the challenges of talking about your life background story is condensing it. And I would say, like Jess said, I would perhaps pare down the amount of topics to make the most important parts stand out and make them even more memorable. And also, I would slow down on anything that could be considered a unique or a new word to the audience. And to challenge yourself, I I would say you gave an excellent first time speech. I was blown away. And I think you're pretty much ready to take it to the next level. So that's it. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much, Sean, for your evaluation. Finally, evaluating Jess, we have Brandon. Brandon, if you would, please.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. Again, good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Jess, I had the pleasure of evaluating your speech today. Your speech title was Speak to Me in a Language I Can Hear. I didn't realize that those were Smashing Pumpkin lyrics, but I'm glad you said that because that helped draw me in most certainly because I do like the Smashing Pumpkins. The purpose of your project was to learn about different communication styles and identify your primary style, which you obviously did. And the purpose of your speech was to share the impact of your style on others, which you also did. So check that block. Very good. I feel your speech was delivered in a very well organized and thought out manner. It was very polished, so very good there. You excelled at engaging the audience right away. You asked for a show of hands a couple of times on a couple different questions. And then I think you actually asked for jazz hands there, which was also nice. I don't know if anybody gave you jazz hands back because I was writing it down, but that keeps people engaged, obviously. And then you walked us through your Toastmasters assessment, the assessment you take for your communication style, and you went over the 4 different styles that it showed. And you said that, your top 2 were this that tied, and your bottom 2 were this and it tied. And then you described each one of those styles for us and where you sat. So very good on that. I thought it was informative. You showed us how some people won't understand kind of what you're saying if you aren't using a communication style that resonates with them. And then you kind of likened that to the book, The 5 Love Languages, which I think most of us know about, right? Which basically tells us if you're in a relationship and you're not using a communication style that resonates with that person, you're likely to run into problems, and that goes at home and at work. So very good there. Again, keeping the audience engaged with that. At the end, you kind of challenged the audience with to think about their communication style and how they can improve it. So that was very good. Again, keeping the audience engaged. To close on, the only thing I really say to challenge yourself with is a little more vocal variety. It's hard to do sometimes in this forum, but it helps keep the audience engaged, right? Puts a little exclamation on what you're saying as you kind of like change up and down. But overall, you did really good. Your cadence, your tone, your confidence, it was all there. So it's a very small critique, but again, I look forward to hearing from you very soon in the future. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
All right. Thank you very much, Brandon. That concludes our evaluation portion, evaluating the individual speakers. Next, we're going to bring back all of my helpers who were evaluating all of our speakers, both the prepared and unprepared speeches. The first one is the timer. I believe that was Aaron, though I think we've had some technical issues. Is that right, Aaron?
So that would definitely be accurate. My job today as timer was pretty circuitous. However, I'm here, so unfortunately, I missed the first. I'll go ahead and blame it on Earl because he was talking about technology, and then my technology just failed. So
I jinxed everyone.
Hey,
I did notice. I did notice that you were
on my phone. So, and I really wish I could have. I really was looking forward to Sahani's speech, and from Sean's feedback, it was pretty awesome. So,
real quick, I took the first 3 times down, so I have the first 3, but I stopped doing it as soon as I had to start doing Jess's evaluation. So, Earl, you hit 6 minutes 18 seconds. Sahani, 6 minutes 39 seconds, and Jess, 8 minutes 32.
I took down a couple of times, though I did space out a little bit and missed a few.
I have the rest, Earl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. So for the table topics, real quick, Ray, I had at 118. Chris, I had at 113. And John and Sahani, I had both at 1 minute, approximately. And then for the evaluations, I had Chris at 158, Sean at 126, and Brandon at 244. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
All right. Thank you very much, Aaron. That's great. That's a great example of someone fulfill their role. Other people stepped up to the plate to help out. So I want to thank both Brandon and Earl for taking care of that. Next, we have our awe counter and listen up. This would be Chris. Chris, would you like to tell us about the meeting?
Absolutely. So for awe counting, I didn't hear anything egregious that I had to take note of. I did hear one or two ahs during it, but nothing that was used repeatedly as a crutch. As far as listen up goes, I did zone out during table topics as far as recording it, but for the prepared speeches, I do have some questions. So what was the name of the computer illiterate person Earl portrayed himself as during his skit?
Joe.
Joe, average computer user.
Yep, absolutely. Where did Sahani move to in New York?
Staten Island.
Absolutely. What two communication styles did Jess primarily test as?
Analytical and direct.
Yep, that's it. That's all I got for listen up.
All right. Thank you for your report, Chris. Third, we're going to have our grammarian and word master of the day, Brandon, tell us all about who used the word circuitous.
That's right. So I count 3 uses by 2 people. We have Aaron used it twice, once during his introduction as the timer, and once during his timer report. And then we had Sahani during her table topics. And then as far as improper grammatical uses or suggestions or improvements, I usually wouldn't say anything, but this one was obviously intentional. And Earl had a bunch in the beginning, but the one that stuck out to me was learn me some new things. That was a good one. And then list of quotes, thoughts, words, sayings. Sahani had a couple good ones in there. Some that are actually like, I know what they mean, but they don't get used very much. Flabbergasted and quintessential. And then one that I didn't know, probably because I've never been to college, but meticulate, to be enrolled at a college or university. Didn't know that one, so now I know it. So thanks for that. Back to you, Mr. Mr. General Evaluator.
All right. Thank you very much, Brandon. We sent out the vote counting form yet? I don't think I've received it.
I have. I can't remember. I thought there was a list, so I tried to get everybody on there. And my apologies. Option 2 is supposed to be Sahani. I put her name in there, but I didn't save it, I guess, before I sent it for the best speaker.
Okay.
Do we want to handle some business while the response? Has everybody got it? Anybody not get it?
Yeah, it came in under my promotions folder. That's why I didn't see it to begin with.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Quite fitting for you, being the PR guy, but
yeah, that's where it went for me too. So that's why I didn't see it. That's why I was checking. Okay. So now everyone knows it might go to the spam folder or the promotions tab if you're on Gmail.
circuitous email route.
Yeah, there's a little bit of circuity in there.
Okay.
All right.
While everyone's doing that, we can do some club business. Michelle, did you have something to say?
Yes, I want to say thank you to those of you that sent me your renewals and your dues via Venmo and Cash App. And I know a few of the officers have actually renewed their own dues on the Toastmasters website. So please send me your money when you're able to, and I'll send out a reminder email to everybody.
Okay.
Quick question, Michelle.
Yes, sir.
When I joined in, I think March.
Yes.
Did I pay the prorated for this also, or for only March till now?
March until now. until the end of August. So September 1st is when the next cycle, so to speak, starts.
Okay.
Lucky for us, we can start paying now.
All right, cool.
Let's get it out of the way.
All right.
And I also want to say that Earl, there's now a area director for us. His name's Jim Kennedy, and you should be hearing from him shortly. That started this week, so he should be able to correspond with you and get you your division updates.
Okay. Who, you know what club he's in?
He's in my other club, Five Ring Financial. He's a really good guy.
Okay.
I kind of recommended he be the AD.
Right. Okay. Okay, Ms. Vernell, do you have something to share?
Yes, I do. I wanted to talk about the educational awards. Here at PG, we give educational awards based on our fiscal year. So the end of June completed our fiscal year. All right, can everyone see me?
Yes.
All right. We have 4 awards. The first one goes to the person who completes 10 speeches. It is a keychain. Then the next award is a small mini notebook. That's for your next 10 speeches. And then for the next 10, you're going to receive a mug, Toastmaster mug. Once you receive your DTM, we give you a choice as to what you would like. So for this fiscal year, we're giving out 2 awards. One goes to our President Earl. He completed his first 10 and he gets a keychain. Next, under the old system, is Donnell. He has his bronze and he will receive this book. My question is to you two, how would you like me to mail them? Hold on to them? What would you like?
You can hold on to mine until we meet face to face. Yeah.
You can hand deliver mine. No, I'll wait.
Where are you going to be?
I'm joking. I'm in Hampton.
Okay.
Leave it in the 3rd tree stump off the side of the interstate.
Well, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for all your hard work. And Earl, we'll turn it back to you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right. 2 things. First off, the annual convention is virtual this year. It starts on the 24th and it's all week. If you haven't already registered for it, please do. It's free. And there's a lot to learn, as well as they're holding the semifinals and the finals for the World Championship of Public Speaking. And there's some amazing, amazing speakers in that contest. So I would recommend watching if you can. And the second thing, so for the executive committee, we have a vote coming up for members for international director, as well as 2 amendments to the bylaws. I've looked at those and I've already completely forgotten what those amendments are. And I have no idea who the candidates for international director are, but I do know that the trio in the district has interviewed them all, or I believe they've interviewed them all. And if they haven't interviewed them, they're going to. And they're very knowledgeable on these amendments. And we are allowed to designate a proxy to vote for us. And I propose that we designate our district director as our proxy to vote for us at the annual conference. So for the EC, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All opposed? Nay. Okay. All right. Motion passes. The gavel is in the car, but and those are the 2 things I have. So do you have your Mr. Vote Counter? Do you have all your tallied votes?
I do.
Okay.
Share my screen. For the best speaker today. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I lost it. Technology, right? I have Sahani as the, can you guys see that? Maybe I didn't share it. And
Yeah.
then for the best table topics, I have. Hold on. All right, let me just do this. We take it out of this. Also, Sahani for the Best Table Topics Award. And then for the Best Evaluator is Brandon.
Clean it up.
Cleaning up. So congratulations, everybody. Nice work. Makes us all want to level up and get these awards.
Great job, everyone.
Back to you.
So, Brandon, do you want to, or Brandon, Tyler, do you want to set the agenda for next week?
Yes, I would also like to give my general evaluator comments. I don't think we went over that, but we started off on time. That was great. Aaron started it off. We're still talking over each other for these Pledge of Allegiance parts, and it's confusing as well because everyone's on different times and it's just loud. So maybe next time we just have Aaron lead in the pledge while everyone else mutes their mic. I think that would clean it up a bit better.
Tyler, I would say that in general, that if someone is leading a thing in which we're all speaking, that maybe that person is the only one that's speaking and everyone else mutes but speaks along so that there's not all the garbled communication.
Yeah, that happened with the new member induction as well. We can see that everybody is speaking along, and it would help to have Sani actually hear what we're pledging rather than just a gobbledygook, because I don't think she heard a word. But we had 13 members attend today. Very good job, especially for a virtual meeting. That was one of our highest attendances for these virtual meetings. The role introductions by each of my staff, team, they all explained their parts very well in a very direct manner. Very thankful for their the three speeches, Earl, Sahani, and Jess. They were all three informative speeches, but they attacked from different directions. Earl was talking about his project and his goals. Sahani was talking about her past, and Jess was talking about how she is now. So we had future, past, present, all in our speeches. That was interesting to kind of see just the different focus of each of these speeches, and we're getting different aspects of people. The table topics started out a bit confused to see it actually in action. It turned out very well. I was surprised at some of the speeches, how they were able to tie two different things together into one speech. I think that was very creative table topics. So I thank Vernell for her creativity there. Our evaluators, Chris, Sean, and Brandon. We don't often evaluate the evaluators, so I'm going to take a little bit of time to evaluate our evaluators for the first time since I've been here. Chris's evaluation, I thought, was very good. He summed up Earl's speech very well, gave him a couple topics, but it felt a little bit too structured. It wasn't natural. It was checking off a couple things off a list, and while that makes sure you get to everything, it also doesn't feel as natural as it possibly could be. Sean had a bit of the same. He checked a bunch of things off the list, and he was really rushing to get through the evaluation. An evaluation is a speech much like a table topic speech or a prepared speech. We're not just trying to get through it and get it all off our chest. We're here to give a proper speech. and it's a more structured impromptu speech. You know what's coming. It's an in-between between the table topics where you don't know what's coming and the prepared speeches where you've got it all ready to go. Figure out what kind of structure you're going to go with, and then when you're evaluating the person's speech, bring that new information into a structure that you develop for yourself. Brandon, I could tell he was very prepared. He had his evaluation sheet in front of him, and that was also due to Jess's preparation, sending him the sheet. He utilized it to get through all of the topics he needed to and focus on what her speech was about, which was about her communication style. And his evaluation really was focused on that. So I appreciate both of their preparation working together to help Brandon's evaluation. Finally, we had a little bit of a hiccup with technology. This is going to happen all the time. We're getting a lot better at dealing with these interruptions due to technology. And I want to give a second thank. And great job at taking up the slack where our technology couldn't. So if everyone could just take the time and give them a quick round of applause. Overall, very good meeting. I really appreciated all of our speakers today. Thank you for your time. And I will get into preparing for our next meeting now. Our next meeting will be on September 5th, 2020, 10 a.m. That is the first Saturday in September. It's going to be 3 weeks because we don't meet on the 5th Saturday. 3 weeks until our next meeting. Anybody feel like risking the biscuit?
Doing the what?
It's a big role. Well, it's been a while since I've been Toastmaster, so I might as well do it myself. Does anyone have any objections? No? Okay.
No naysayers.
No naysayers, so I will take it. Topics Master, who's got a creative idea?
I think I can come up with something in 3 weeks.
Jess can come up with something. Sounds good. Thank you, Jess.
Mm-hmm.
General evaluator of the meeting.
I can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Michelle or Burnell?
Either one.
Either one?
Burnell can do it. I'll do something else.
Okay. Burnell is the general evaluator. Let's make Michelle the grammarian word master. You better come up with a very fun word.
It might have to do with pus.
I don't know if any of the speeches are going to have to do with pus, so I don't know if they would be able to use it.
The words of the day are gas gangrene.
I'll counter and listen up. Who would like to count all the ahs and ums? Hey, Earl.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Oh, Danielle's going to do it. He took a bullet for you, Earl. All
You can
right.
put me down as the timer.
Timer, Earl. Done. Vote counter. Who's going to send out the Google form?
I can do that. I'm not sure. I'd have to get some pointers of how to do it. I'll look it up. But yeah, I can do that.
I will send you all the information because it's something that we do. not
okay.
something that Toastmasters as an organization does. So I will work with you in the next week about how to do it.
Okay.
All right, our favorite part. Who would like to give some speeches? Is anybody ready for a speech in 3 weeks?
I
Look,
can
I'm
do
about
it.
making
I'll make
progress. I'll do
myself
it.
do a speech.
Okay, we had like 3 people talk.
There you go. Easy day.
Sahani can give us.
Sahani can do a speech. Okay. We have Sahani for speaker number 1. Who's going to be speaker number 2?
Jess.
Jess is going to give a speech. Confirm?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Aaron's going to give a speech.
Aaron's going to give a
Going to make
speech.
himself do a speech. Yeah.
Any other takers?
John, put me down, Tyler.
John. And a backup speaker. Going once, going twice. That's it. Okay, now we need 4 evaluators. Who would like to evaluate Sahani? Earl will do it.
Oh, you saw his hand raised.
I've got to scroll left and right throughout all the pictures in order to see everybody. I just so happen to be on top of him.
I
I'm on my
forgot.
phone.
Right.
Yeah. It's very difficult. Who would like to evaluate Jess?
I can evaluate Jess. Sahani.
Sahani.
Get it, girl.
Who would like to evaluate Aaron?
I can do that.
For now? Okay.
Yeah.
And finally, who is going to evaluate John?
I can do that, Chris.
Chris? All set to go for September 5th. We have Tyler as the Toastmaster of the day, Jess as the Topics Master, Vernell as the General Evaluator, Michelle as the Grammarian, Danelle as the Odd Counter, Earl as the Timer, and Sean as the Vote Counter. Sahani, Jess, Aaron, and John will be speaking. Earl, Sahani, Vernell, and Chris will be evaluating. All right, that concludes our planning for the next meeting. I will give it back to Earl to close us out.
Okay. Today was a great meeting, a lot of energy. Sahani, welcome. I was very, very impressed. I echo Sean's sentiments that this is your first speech. It didn't sound like you really need any help with your public speaking, but I was very impressed. So welcome aboard. Just a reminder, dues, if you could pay them to Michelle, that would be great. And the virtual conference is coming up on the 24th for that whole week. So if you can attend, please do. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to say?
Please. I got a couple
Earl?
of little random things.
Oh.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
You can go first if you want to.
My daughter goes to TCC and she starts school this week. Some of her classes are in person, so I think it'd be worth someone from our club finding out if and when we can start resuming our in-person meetings since the school's opening to students.
Okay. We'll reach out to them. Okay. Jess?
I just wanted to throw like a random thought and then a question about today's agenda. So the random thought is, when I first started doing the lessons on the Toastmasters site and I learned about the evaluations, one of the things that I got kind of excited about that I think might be helpful to other people is kind of tailoring your evaluation form. And I didn't really get a chance to do it this time when I sent Brandon mine. But if you have specific factors of your speech giving that you want to work on, I think that there's something to be said for you reaching out to the person who's going to be evaluating you and say, hey, like, I want to work on my time, or I want to work on my gestures or whatever. So can you pay special attention to that and give me feedback on it? And then also, just as kind of a backup to when technical difficulties happen, on the Toastmasters website, there's actually a spot where you can put in to the executive team and ask them for feedback on your speech. In case you didn't know that was there, go snooping around, because then we can also provide that to you. And then I have a question about the agenda, because sometimes I'm a little silly and don't know if I'm reading things the right way. So on this agenda, it talks about the level 1 awards and says that we need 4 of them, right? And then it has the candidates and it has all of us. So I don't know if I need to update or if I'm not understanding something, but I got my level 1 thing for my last speech last time, right? I don't have the words for what I'm trying to say right now.
I know what you mean. You completed level 1.
Yes.
Yeah, so we need to update that.
Words, random punctuation.
Yeah, I need to update that. I didn't get a notification that you completed level 1 though, so I'll need to look at it.
I'll make sure I email it to you from now on.
No, I should be able to see it.
Yeah, done the final evaluation.
Yeah, I think all my stuff's done because I got the notification and it's on my profile.
Okay.
So.
All right, we'll look into it.
I'll double check.
Yep. But Jess does raise a good point relative to evaluations. So for your project, there are certain goals that you want to attain for the project, but that doesn't mean that you can't also work on personal goals that you identify in yourself that you want to work on. So if you have those, reach out to your evaluator and talk about it. Let them know that, hey, these are certain things that I'm trying to work on. So if you could pay special attention to that, that would be great. It's all part of us growing, becoming better speakers.
Did Sean and Chris get somebody to show them how to navigate the pathways yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay, cool.
I need to reach back out to Tyler again, but yeah, we're good.
Okay, I just want to know if anybody wanted help. Great.
Okay. Anyone else have anything? Okay. Well, everyone, thanks for coming. Have a great rest of your weekend.
You too.
Right. Hey, Sean.
Yes.
Can you hang out 1 second?
Bye.
Yeah, no problem.
I just want to ask a question.
All right.
Earl, count me in on that Zoom thing.
Okay. I'm putting your
Earl,
name down.
Earl, I wanted to tell you the same thing. You can count me in too.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Bye, everybody. See you in 3 weeks.
Hey, Sean, you're a graphic designer, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
So I'm the acting public relations manager for the district this year, and they want me to have a graphics designer on staff, which is just me. Like when I ask you if you could do something, you could do it. Would you be willing to do that for us?
Yeah, I mean, what all would it entail?
I mean, it wouldn't entail a lot. I mean, if you had ideas you wanted to throw our ways, like if we had a promotion, I could send you some, like I could send you what I could think we should put online. I don't know do you follow our Facebook page at all?
Yeah, I do. I see it pop up from time to time.
So basically, it's just like if we needed a graphic for a meeting or something to that effect. If I could just ask you, and I know we're all busy, we can't always do everything, but I just want to know if I could put you on my list of contacts to be able to reach out.
Yeah.
Most of it's usually just, I mean, Toastmasters has very specific colors we have to use, very specific text. Designs can be still only one logo we can use, so it's not like you'd have to put a lot of creative thought into it. I'm sure you can see pictures I can't see. I am not a graphic person at all. Mm-hmm. I know what I like, but I can't create it.
Yeah.
That's the thing I would like to just, maybe just, or send you something I've thought of and say, hey, maybe we could just do this.
Yeah. I can, I could fix it up. I could do something quick or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be anything that was. It's, I know what my brother is a creative director, and I know what he puts into his job. It would be near that, so it'd just be some little graphic stuff.
All right, cool. Yeah, because I remember she mentioned the logo thing at the last meeting.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because I had my brother design a logo a couple years ago, and then now I'm supposed to police all the logos, and I got to cut his logo off that we can't use it anymore.
Okay, I got you.
But yeah, it would entail a lot. Just if I ask you something, or I might email you something, you say yes, I can do, or no, I can't, whatever. So I appreciate having your contact.
Yep, no problem.
All right, thanks, sir.
All right,
have a good one.
All right. Hey, Tyler, I see you're still there.
Yeah, I'm still here. I figured I might talk to you since we haven't followed up with the pathways thing yet.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and let me just pull it up real quick because I did attempt to start it, and I went back through like the icebreaker.
Yep.
And I filled that out, and it seems like to follow that path. It's kind of like you have the icebreaker, then you have like 2 evals or something. You probably don't remember because it's the first level.
Well, I can go into it and figure it out. So you're able to get into pathways just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just get to base camp real quick.
Because it seems to follow kind of a different structure than our meetings. But
what do you mean it follows a different structure?
I mean, well, I guess when we volunteer, it seems kind of more spontaneous than following a path. In the meeting, when we get volunteers to do different roles, it seems like we're just kind of filling in the different roles. But I guess
right. But so you would volunteer in order to fulfill a training requirement. So if somebody needed to be a counter, for instance, or a Toastmaster of the day for one of their speaking requirements, they would just volunteer. And if somebody beat them to it, somebody could have easily said, hey, Tyler, I need Toastmaster of the day for X project. And most people would acquiesce and say, hey, that's fine. Yeah, I'll just do it next week.
Okay.
So we do things a bit more lackadaisical. We don't assign roles here. We could, but we don't.
Okay.
So in level 1, you've got icebreaker, evaluation and feedback, and the researching and presenting.
So I'm in pathways right now on the site.
Yeah.
And it says it's a big one. What is Toastmasters?
Let's see.
Page maybe. Oh, base. Never mind. I see it. I just went to base camp.
Yeah, base camp is where your pathway is done. So you go to pathways,
presentation,
go to base camp, and then it says the pathways learning experience. Is that what you were talking about?
Yes. Presentation.
And then it says go to base camp in the center.
Go to base camp. Let's see.
And then it should take you to in blue page with toast left.
Okay. Let me see. I'm just getting spinning wheel. All right. Because I'm on a page that has the Toastmasters Pathways Learning Experience in the top left corner. It's this.
Yep. And then it has home, paths and learning, tutorials and resources, reports. Right. Yeah. So you're gonna have paths and learning on the left-hand side. It's like the 4th box. You see that?
Yeah.
And it says what your path is. I don't know what your path is. Is it? It's For instance, mine is persuasive influence, and it's got open curriculum next to it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Presentation mastery, open
Presentation mastery, open curriculum.
Yeah.
So you're gonna pick open curriculum.
Okay.
And this is how you get into pathways every time to figure out what you need to do.
Okay.
So you see, it's going to take you to presentation mastery. It's going to have level 1 right there, right?
Yep. Icebreaker.
Then it has icebreaker, evaluation and feedback, researching and presenting, and then completion.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And so do you have a checkbox next to your icebreaker?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What about evaluation and feedback?
No.
What does it say? Does it say activate or launch?
Launch.
Launch. So you're going to launch it, and it's going to take you to what's pretty much just a PowerPoint presentation online. And you go through this, and it pretty much tells you what to do.
Okay.
It'll tell you, okay, we're going to talk about evaluations and give you kind of some guidance about what that gives you a brief view of your assignment, and then pre-test, then teaches you. You review, then you complete the assignment, which is usually a speech, and then it gives you evaluation resources to give to your evaluator that are tailored for this specific speech. So in this case, it gives you an evaluation resource for your first speech, second speech, and evaluation. Because this module has 3 parts. You give one speech on any topic, give a second speech on any topic, but the second speech utilizes feedback you received from the first speech.
I got you. Okay.
So if you have John evaluate you, for instance, he might say, "Oh, Sean, you can use more vocal variety."
Yep.
And then when you're crafting your second speech, you're supposed to take that into account and build on that. And this project will tell you everything that you should be doing.
Okay.
So, and then once you complete your second speech, you will then take on a role as an evaluator and evaluate somebody else using the lessons you learned from this PowerPoint presentation and from, listening to people evaluate you.
I got you.
And then after you do those things, you'll take the post test, and then it'll give you a congratulations page. And then you just move on to the next step in your level, which is researching and presenting.
Okay. All right.
So does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And of course, it looks like I've already done 2 speeches and an evaluation, but I didn't follow this. Should I do one more speech and just kind of sum it up that way? Or what would you
suggest? As the VPE, I don't think I would approve of it, because you're not just here to give speeches, because if you just give speeches, you're not going to get anywhere.
You're not going to get well-rounded.
You need to give speeches with intent.
Yes.
So the intent is to give a speech in your natural style, get feedback, pay close attention to that feedback.
Yep.
Because when you give that evaluation sheet to your evaluator, they're going to be looking for things to tell you to improve upon for your next speech.
Based on the previous evaluation. Like if somebody told.
No, this is the first evaluation of you on your first speech.
Yeah.
Your first speech is your icebreaker. nobody's gonna drag you through the mud for your first speech.
Right.
They're not gonna give you a whole bunch of useful feedback. That's just how people in this club operate.
Okay.
When you go into your first evaluation speech, they're going to be looking this time.
Okay.
They've got your evaluation form. They know I need to give some actual use because they need to act on my feedback. And then usually you'll have the same person for the second evaluation, and they're going to remember, oh, hey, I told Sean to do this, that, and the other. Did he do this, that, and the other?
I got you. Yeah.
And that's what the second evaluation is. So it's with intent. When Aaron was giving his 2 evaluation speeches, I made sure I evaluated him for both of them.
I got you.
What
do you suggest?
What do I stress?
No. What do you suggest as far as my path forward here?
Go through the evaluation and feedback slideshow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, like as far as once I do this part, what are my next steps? What would you say?
Well, you see, after evaluation and feedback, there's researching and presenting. So you go there next.
Okay.
And then once you complete those 3 steps, you'll have the level 1 completion. That's going to send a notification to me saying, hey, this person's done with their level 1. They're ready to move on to level 2. And then level 2 will have another 3 projects: understanding your leadership style, active listening, and introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. So this base camp has you on a path.
Oh, yeah,
you should know what to do next at every step.
Yeah, no, I think my question is like, should I, once I do this online part, should I redo the steps of this particular lesson in the club as far as presenting, or should I just, because I kind of did it in reverse? You know, I kind of gave two speeches without referring to this.
Well, did you learn what the lesson is trying to teach you from those speeches?
I mean, I haven't read this yet, but I've learned from what you guys told me in the club.
Well, we're not trying to make this a general lesson. Yeah. Toastmasters isn't about giving lectures, because I can tell you, feedback is important. It helps you to become a better speaker. I can tell you that all day, and it's not gonna be real to you.
Yeah.
When somebody tells you, hey, you lack in volume, and you actually act on that, and then you get feedback saying, hey, in your second speech, you really did a great job on volume. I'm really impressed with how well you went from this quiet person that was mumbling the words, we couldn't hear you in the back, to this person who is shouting across the room and using a lot of vocal variety to emphasize the things that are important, and just talking a bit more quietly when necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that is going to be internalized in you.
Yeah.
And so yes, I would say it would be beneficial to your progress as a speaker to go through it properly.
Okay.
Because otherwise you're just giving speeches, and you can do that anytime.
Yeah.
You can do that in front of your dog.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. All right. So, all right. So what I'll do then is I'll just kind of like, go through this, of course, and kind of redo the last one to kind of get, I mean, of course, it won't be the last speech, but I would give a new speech, but starting back on this level, just so I can get the proper feedback and following this following this structure.
Yeah, and you'll be able to read the evaluation resources and see what the speaker or what your evaluator is going to be looking for in your speech.
Okay.
Because this is it's a well-structured program, and you can see that it's going to be beneficial to you to kind of follow this structure and work on one part at a time of your speech, figure out where you're lacking, and then drill in on those things. And that's what an evaluator is for, is to help you drill in on the weak parts. For instance, my weak part, which every single evaluator, every single one has nitpicked on me, is vocal variety.
Okay.
So that's something that I'm taking a bit of time away from speaking to focus on.
Okay.
And just try and bring it into a more natural way.
All right, cool. Yeah. All right, so
So do you have any questions?
No. And this would be, I'm just gonna rewind here, just gonna go back to the previous screen. But all right, so this would be evaluation and feedback. So I'm gonna go through this lesson.
Yep.
And then my next speech will be tailored strictly to this lesson.
Yep.
And that's how I'll get my feedback going forward. So I'll just count the first two speeches as basically practice.
Well, the icebreaker was a speech.
Oh yeah. And then yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or did you give 3?
Yeah, that would be 3. That would be 3 that I gave. The icebreaker plus 2 more. But I mean, I could do another one, no problem, and just start the process over, because I do want to get it. I do want to get everything I can get out of this,
Yeah, I mean, the goal is not to get through the program.
Oh yeah, of course.
The goal is to learn.
Yeah, yep.
So
because I'm kind of concerned that I might have missed something in the by not going through the evaluation and feedback part of the online part before I get.
Yeah, I mean, some of the lessons can be a bit dry and duh, but but some of them are very helpful. I think the evaluation and feedback one, the lesson is very complete, and it helps you understand, why do we get feedback? Why do we do this? And how is this going to help me? And what should I do with this feedback? Because it really has you practice taking this feedback from somebody who says, oh, you're really great at this, so you don't need to work on this, but you could do a little effort with this. So in your next speech, you focus on just that. You don't focus on the good.
Yep.
You focus on improving the bad.
Yep.
And you can take a peek through the different levels and see what project you're working on. So for instance, level 2, as you understanding your leadership style, that's a speech, or that's a lesson where it has you take a test on leadership, and it tells you what kind of leader you are. And then your job is to give a speech to the other Toastmasters about what your leadership style is and what it means to you. So it's not only about speaking mechanics, it's also about leadership and community and understanding yourself.
Okay.
Because if you can understand, you're a better speaker, you're more confident.
All right. Yeah, I like it. Sounds good.
Cool. So you feel comfortable going around through pathways now?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
My role is to help out our members, help them learn.
All right, cool. Yeah, well, yeah, looks good.
All right.
All right. Hey, did you want to quickly go through the voting process real quick, or you want to just wait, get me to call you later
Yeah.
on?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an email.
Okay.
And it's going to be a link to a Google form, and it'll probably have the previous votes, the voting people in the form. As the meeting goes on, you just replace those names with other people, and then you just click send in the top right to all of the PG articulators that are at the meeting. I generally don't send it to people who are not at the meeting, and you can find the members. You can find the membership list on the website. I send it out in every meeting agenda.
Okay. And anybody that's on camera, I'll automatically have their email.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have to put in their email individually, but you can find their email on a list.
Just cut and paste.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
Pretty straightforward. You just gotta want the last evaluator done, or you'll know the evaluator, so you can do it right after the table topic speakers.
Okay.
Somewhere in there, somewhere after the table topics, and somewhere after the evaluations.
Okay. Quick
again, I think I will make a little cheat sheet for all of our voters. That way I don't have to
explain
give such in detail explanations every time.
Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, quick question. So where are you in Pathways?
I'm on level 3. Yeah, I believe I'm done with level 3, though I haven't left it yet because I want to do another elective, but that's my own prerogative.
Okay, so the last speech that you gave was a persuasive speech.
What was the last speech that I gave? No, the last speech I gave was a social speech. It is from a list of electives.
Okay, elective projects. I see it.
Yeah, you're given elective projects starting in level 3, where the electives are semi-tailored to your pathway. I've got ones that are effective body language, know your sense of humor, connect with your audience, use descriptive language, deliver social speeches, and they're all persuasion adjacent.
Okay.
But also in level 3, there is a understanding conflict resolution speech, which is the main meat and potatoes of level 3. And then the elective projects are things that you tack on.
Okay. Yeah, and I do see how this can make you a more well-rounded speaker, because they're selecting different aspects that you should probably be aware of as a speaker, and just
trying to find your blind spots.
Yeah, as a communicator altogether.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, well, thanks for this, man.
You're welcome. And if there's anything I can help you with in the future, you know my email, you know my phone number.
All right, cool.
Great. Glad I could help you out.
Yep.
You have a great day.
All right, you too. See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.